Okay, so let's have a look at this, doing this a little bit more evenly. So I'm just going to delete that, and what I want to do now is grab my pen tool. I'm going to click once up here somewhere, click, move across, hold my shift key down and click and drag down. And I'm keeping my shift key held down so I know that that line is vertical. And that should be okay. I'm going to hit escape on the keyboard to get rid of that, to break that curve. Black arrow tool from the toolbox, I'm going to grab this, and if I want to go into my reflect tool here, this time I want to choose horizontal and copy. And I'm going to move that down, and I want to keep these two slightly, these left-hand corners overlap, so if I go through, and again, using the arrows on my keyboard, I'm just going to shift those down slightly. Now my white arrow tool, I need to click away to deactivate both those curves. Grab a selection marquee here, object path and average. Yep, and this time object path and join. And back to my black arrow tool, I want to grab that, and zooming out, I want to go through and I want to grab my rotate tool. I want to rotate it 45 degrees. And again, black arrow tool, make sure that's selected. This time, go to my my reflect tool, double click this time across the horizontal and copy. Black arrow tool, drag this down towards the bottom, and before I let go, notice I'm holding down my shift key to align those two shapes. Click away. And this is where I want to again grab my zoom tool. I'm just going to go into there, spacebar on my keyboard to shift up a little bit. I want to get my white arrow tool now, click on this point, hold down my shift key. I need to do that in order to select the second point. And now I go object path and join. Back to my black arrow tool and command minus to zoom out a little bit. Black arrow tool, select my object. Double click on the reflect tool, again this time vertical, and copy. Black arrow tool, drag that over to the left to approximately the right location. Hold down my shift key before I let go of the mouse button, then the shift key. Back to my zoom tool, and let's just go through. I'll just move that palette out of the way, and there we are. White arrow tool, click away because all the points are still activated. Click on that point there, shift click, command J to join. Hold the space bar down on my keyboard, click on that point, shift click to the second point, and again command J, and let's zoom out a little bit, and there is my command logo. And what I could do is I could just make it a little bit thicker, let's say 3 points, or maybe up to, let's say, 6 points, and give it a black stroke, and there's the command logo on my keyboard.